We're honored to have Dr. Ahmadai now deliver our commencement address.
Good morning. Before I get started, I'd like to remove this funny hat there. I have a hard time talking with a hat on my head, and I need as much inspiration from above as I can during the next 10 or 15 minutes. President Ryan, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, families, and graduates, colleagues, it is indeed a great honor for me to receive today an honorary doctoral degree of engineering from WPI. I am proud to wear the colors of your prestigious university. To all of you students, the class of 2014, please receive my sincere congratulations for your success and accomplishments. You are entering a new phase of your life and are about to begin a great adventure. Several months ago, I was asked by WPI to give a commencement speech. At first, I was really excited about it. And as I got closer, and when I got here and the weather was not too good, I said, oh my God, what's going to happen here? So I became worried about the kind of message I was going to tell you today. Like many of you, you may have listened to many commencement speeches, and frankly, many of them are boring. You know, they usually tell you to be nice and to each other, to be good citizens, to remember your family, your friends, your country, remember your alma mater when you can afford it. Of course, you've got to do that. But I'm not going to talk about all that stuff. That's taken for granted. Rather, my speech today is, I would call, a kick-butt type of lecture, a call to action that does not apply only to the graduates, but also to every one of us. I am in a distinctive position of addressing people today who truly have the potential to help solve our world's greatest problems. As graduates of WPI, again, congratulations, you are well positioned to become the agents of change that our planet needs. And our planet needs true change makers. You have been given a gift of education. A rare gift, indeed. I work in many countries around the world where it's not engineers without borders, but rather borders without engineers, borders without teachers, borders without instructors, borders without nurses. You have a gift, and that kind of knowledge that you have acquired over the past 4 years, it's very powerful. As Voltaire would point out, with great power comes great responsibility. So let it be said that you have an obligation to share your gift with others around the world. Your responsibility extends from you to about 7.2 billion people on our planet. I know for a fact, and I travel a lot around the world in the developing world, about 4 to 5 billion people on our planet today do not have clean water, sanitation, energy, and shelter, and their job is to stay alive by the end of the day and do it over and over and over again. About 1 billion people do not have access to clean water, 2.4 billion people do not have access to sanitation, 30,000 children die every day for reasons that are purely preventable, and 1.6 billion people do not have access to electricity. My friends, poverty in any form and shape is a crime against humanity. And I can tell you that many of the criminals are still on the loose and are not behind bars. Poverty is not normal. It is not normal for people to live in precarious livelihoods, characterized by physical and psychological weaknesses. It's not normal for people not to have water. It's not normal for people to sleep on beds on the ground at night. It's not normal for children to go hungry. It is not normal for them to have diarrhea. It is not normal for children to die in a cold, have no shelter, and receive no education. It is not normal for girls and women to be treated as slaves with no right and empowerment. What happened in Nigeria a few weeks ago, the enslavement of 200 girls, it is not normal. And we need to denounce such non-normal situations. It is not normal for clinics and hospitals to be empty of equipment, staff, supplies, and medication. It is not normal for people to be isolated with no rights and voices in our community. It is not normal for people to be exploited in any manner or form because of their race, gender, and age. And it is not normal for our decision makers and international institutions to not deliver what they promise. These problems are global and need to be addressed with a new mindset. Quoting Albert Einstein, the significant problems we face cannot be solved by the same level of thinking that created them. You know this already because upon your arrival here 4 to 5 years ago, students were called by this university to think about the great problems facing our world. WPI rightly taught you that issues such as poverty, climate change, peace, feeding the world, hydrating the world, educating the world, powering the world, communicating across the world are truly great challenges and great problems. They are big challenges. And they call for global citizen engineers, global citizen scientists, global citizen artists, global citizen economists, but also global citizen plumbers, carpenters, masons, and so on. We need to go beyond the traditional fields of engineering and create global engineers and global scientists. You students have gained knowledge, ability, and skills during your time here. You are equipped to be truly effective problem solvers. You have also been engaged in the humanities and were taught to think of your place in the global context of your world, your place in the universe. Let me remind you that universities were created 1,000 years ago in Europe for young people to find their place in the universe. They were not there for them to get a job. They were there to find themselves, their place in the universe, and contribute to the betterment of mankind. For engineers and scientists, the goals are no longer about providing value-neutral solutions to well-defined problems. Our world needs engineers and scientists who are peacemakers, change makers, social entrepreneurs, and facilitators of sustainable human development. When I studied Engineers Without Borders, I helped also start Engineers Without Borders in Israel and Palestine, in Jordan, in Egypt. Next week I'll be in Pakistan. I studied Engineers Without Borders in Pakistan in September. And guess what? Those engineers, those young people are working under the nonsense of the political agenda and are able to work together. It's amazing to see young engineers from Palestine working side by side with engineers from Israel. It happens. It's there. And the youth today want that change. They are tired of the status quo. Our world needs you to commit to disrupting poverty, disrupting injustice, disrupting violence, disrupting the systems that support and encourage ill forms of behavior on our planet. As human beings, we can do better than we are doing right now. Such changes require all of you to be leaders. Leaders are not made. They are not born, but they are made. Leaders need to work hard and become good at it. There's no doubt about it. There's an excellent book written by Chris Loney called Heroic Leadership, and it summarizes the 4 qualities of authentic leaders. They are self-awareness. First, get to know yourself. Who are you? What works for you doesn't work for you. Ingenuity. By the way, the term engineer came from the French ingénieur, which has to do with ingenuity. Be creative. Love. Wow, love is a 4-letter word that we rarely hear on campus, right? Well, what about trying to make the world a sustainable place, a good place without love? Or if you don't like that 4-letter word, replace it by compassion. A sustainable world is a loving world. A sustainable world is an equitable world. A sustainable world is a compassionate world. And finally, heroism. Yes, we need to step out of the box, which, by the way, does not exist. But we need to step out of the box and push the limits. We need trailblazers. We need people who can find new ways for this world to be a better place for all. Another quality of leaders is to learn how to fail. And when you fail, don't think about falling back, but rather fall forward. I know this all sounds both terrifying and electrifying. I can imagine that your parents and families are listening to me talk about you in ways that may be unusual for them to hear. In fact, you may all be sitting here asking ourselves, how did that happen? How did I get here? We got here because the world needs you now, more than ever. And you have spent your time at WPI well. You are now distinctly prepared to make the changes that need to be made. You can change the world. And if you don't do it, I'm going to kick your butt. First, and many times over if necessary. First, let us acknowledge that this endeavor is indeed a journey, and it's not an end in itself. In fact, it is a heroic journey for those of us who want to be leaders rather than followers. How do you get started? Well, Lao Tzu said clearly, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one single step. And by graduating today, by making the commitment to making the world a better place, you are starting that journey, and I wish you good luck. I have a background very similar to yours. As you heard, I studied Engineers Without Borders in 2001. It really changed my life. For me, it was an epiphany. Can I help the 2 billion rich people on our planet, or can I help the other 4 to 5 billion people whose job is to try to stay alive by the end of the day? What I have learned over the past 15 years with that kind of work, I've learned to work with young people. I know young people today are exceptional, and you are part of that group. I've worked with young people full of enthusiasm, passion, excellence, commitment, empathy, courage, inclusion, purpose. Young people who don't mind walking that extra mile in order to make the world a better place through personal and professional engagement. Thank you so much for doing that. Without the young people, I would have been old 10, 15 years ago. Thank you for keeping me alive, and thank you for keeping me young at heart, at least at heart. Many of you have already put your intelligence and your skills and your compassion and empathy to work, and have made concerted efforts to help other people. To all of you who are doing that today, thank you. To all of you who are considering doing that, go for it. And be bold. To all of you who are still confused, join us when you are ready. Now, one more homework assignment that I'm going to everybody. And you don't have to turn it in. And I want you to think about that homework assignment as a way to start your life. It's a great assignment, as you're going to hear it in a minute, and it will help guide you as you face new obligations in addition to your current ones toward yourself, your family, your friends, and your country. I want you to sit down over a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, or what have you, and within the next few days, I want you to write down what you think is your life mission statement. What do you think is your gift to the world? The gift that God gave you at birth, what is it? And I want you to reflect on that. You can feel free to write it on a piece of paper, destroy it next time around. But you know what? I don't know of too many companies, successful companies in the world, that don't have a mission statement as far as they are concerned. So how come we don't have a mission statement? And this quiz and this homework assignment applies to the students as well as to the parents and to my colleagues as well. Once you have done that, you might be surprised to find what you wrote down. You might be surprised to see what you are capable of doing. Again, a heroic leadership. All of us are called to be leaders in today's world. Once you have done that, decide how you will make the world a better place in your own way and with your unique talent. Read your mission statement, stand up, and make the first step. As you go about your work and your life, look at your world with fresh eyes. See how things are being done and think about how they could be improved. Do it. That's what Nike will tell you. But I'm going to add to it, think before you do it. Make the changes that will make the difference. Improve our world. It needs it. With your thoughtful application of knowledge, be disruptors of business as usual. I'm not asking you to break all the chairs and windows right now. But the kind of disruption that I'm talking about is a disruption that brings your heart and your head together so that everyone on this planet can live fulfilling lives, meet their basic needs, and live with dignity and peace. To all of you students, you have spent the past 4 years in a learning environment where theory and practice are the guiding principles. You chose to attend a university that does things differently and does it well. It has made all the differences in your educational experience, and it will make a big difference in your lives going forward. I encourage you to be bold. Stay true to your guiding principles of theory and practice. Do the work that needs to be done, and remember again this word, be the change that you want to see in the world. More than that, be great. No, not just be great, be excellent. Why be great when we can be excellent at it? Have fulfilling and fruitful lives? This call to action is truly an obligation and is no longer an option. The world needs you. Congratulations again to all of you students, parents, and teachers, and thank you for your time.
Dr. Amadai, thank you so much. I know your comments resonate with many of our graduates because they have seen some of those not normal situations that you described around water, sanitation, and shelter in some of their global projects. I know they will go out and make the difference in the world that you gave such an inspiring call to action. Thank you.